All right, guys, welcome, welcome. Let's go ahead and get started. Y'all know, as always, we're going to start with our reading for 10 minutes, okay? So I'll be putting that timer on. Make sure that you are tracking what page you're starting on your reading log. I'm starting a new book today, The Nickel Boys. Okay, so I'll be adding this. It's won the Pulitzer Prize. It is about a boys' reform school in Florida that was really horrible. There was lots of abuse that went on with the boys that went there. It was in operation for over 111 years. It's based on a true story, okay, of a real boys' reform school in Florida. And there were a lot of bodies that were discovered in this unmarked graveyard on the campus of this reform school. And it turned out the atrocities and horrible things that happened to these boys that went to the school was just awful. And so again, it's even won the Pulitzer Prize. Very, very good. Highly recommend The Nickel Boys, Colson Whitehead. Check it out if you're interested. So that's what I'm going to be starting to read. Okay. All right. And again, while we're reading, I will be pulling people into breakout rooms to try to get these conferences done for the KVA kids. Face-to-face kids, I'll be meeting with you next week when we are face-to-face in class. And I can't wait to see and meet you all officially. All right. So 10 minutes is on the clock. Let's go ahead and get started. Sorry. Okay. So adding to your thought log, any new characters, any new conflict, any new conflict resolution, any places where you're confused and don't understand what's going on, any words that you've come across that you don't know and need to look up, any words or phrases or passages that you just really like and want to mark, any predictions you want to make about what's going to happen in the future of your book. Okay. Go ahead. 2 minutes and update your thought logs. And don't forget to write what page you're leaving off on in your reading log. Okay, let's go ahead and go to what we are doing today. All right, so Thursday. Let's go to our quick write. Memories from turning 10. So go ahead and get out your writer's notebook and turn to the seed writing section. Seed writing section of your writer's notebook. On turning 10. The whole idea of it makes me feel like I'm coming down with something. Something worse than any stomach ache or the headaches I get from reading in bad light. A kind of measles of the spirit, a mumps of the psyche, a disfiguring chicken pox of the soul. You tell me it is too early to be looking back, but that is because you have forgotten the perfect simplicity of being one and the beautiful complexity introduced by two. But I can lie on my bed and remember every digit. At 4, I was an Arabian wizard. I could make myself invisible by drinking a glass of milk a certain way. At 7, I was a soldier. At 9, a prince. But now I am mostly at the window watching the late afternoon light. Back then, it never fell so solemnly against the side of my treehouse. And my bicycle never leaned against the garage as it does today. All the dark blue speed drained out of it. This is the beginning of sadness, I say to myself as I walk through the universe in my sneakers. It is time to say goodbye to my imaginary friends. Time to turn the first big number. Seems only yesterday I used to believe there was nothing under my skin but light. If you cut me, I would shine. But now, if I fall upon the sidewalks of life, I skin my knees. I bleed. Here's our prompt. There comes a point in our lives when it seems our childhood innocence fades away. Okay, so we no longer have imaginary friends. We no longer pretend that we are an Arabian prince or a soldier or a wizard, right? It can happen. It can occur abruptly all at once in the face of a traumatic event. Okay, a parent's divorce, a death of a loved one, or it can occur slowly over time without us hardly even noticing it. At what point did you realize that you had lost your innocence? We're no longer a child, okay? You were growing up. All right, so again, we want to make sure that we are writing for no less than 3 minutes, but try to stop ourselves around 5. I'm going to set our timer for 5 minutes, and I will let you know when 3 has passed. You may begin. Okay, so today for our house on Mango Street, we are starting, hang on one second, I've left my book over here. We're talking about loss of innocence today. We are starting on page 33. So yesterday when we talked, we saw a lot of kind of adult situations happening, but we were seeing them through the eyes of Esperanza and her 11-year-old childlike innocence. Okay, today we're going to start to see that innocence slowly be lost. Okay, so it starts out where she's still really innocent at the beginning, talking about clouds and things like that. And then we get to this vignette about shoes. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, anytime we see shoes or feet or anything in House on Mango Street, we want to notice it and mark it, underline. Anytime we see feet or anytime we see shoes, because feet and shoes is a motif. A motif is symbolism that runs throughout the entirety of the literary work. Okay, so feet and shoes is a motif for loss of innocence. It's one of the major themes in House on Mango Street, is this loss of innocence. Okay, so anytime we see feet and shoes, we're going to want to take note of that, underline, highlight it. Okay, Darius and the clouds. You can never have too much sky. You can fall asleep and wake up drunk on sky, and sky can keep you safe when you are sad. Here there is too much sadness and not enough sky. Butterflies too few, and so are flowers and most things that are beautiful. Still, we take what we can get and make the best of it. Darius, who doesn't like school, who is sometimes stupid and mostly a fool, said something wise today, though most days he says nothing. Darius, who chases girls with firecrackers or a stick that touched a rat and thinks he's tough, today pointed up because the world was full of clouds, the kind like pillows. You see that cloud, that fat one there, Darius said. You see that? Where? That one, next to the one that looked like popcorn. That one there. See that? That's God, Darius said. God? Somebody little asked. God, he said, and made it simple. And some more. So this vignette, Esperanza gets into a fight with Lucy and Rachel. Meanwhile, sweet little Ninny is just laying on the ground, pointing up, giving clouds different names the whole time this fight is going on next to her. The Eskimos got 30 different names for snow, I say. I read it in a book. I got a cousin, says Rachel. She got 3 different names. There ain't 30 different kinds of snow, Lucy says. There are 2 kinds, the clean kind and the dirty kind. Clean and dirty, only 2. There are a million zillion kinds, says Ninny. No 2 exactly alike. Only, how do you remember which is which? She got 3 names, and let me see, 2 first names, 1 in English and 1 in Spanish. And clouds got at least 10 different names, I say. Names for clouds, Ninny asks. Names just like you and me? That up there, that's cumulus. And everybody looks up. Cumulus are cute, Rachel says. Ugh, she would say something like that. What's that one there, Ninny asks, pointing a finger. That's cumulus too. They're all cumulus today. Cumulus, cumulus, cumulus. No, she says, that there is Nancy, otherwise known as Pig Eye. And over there is her cousin Mildred. Little Joey, Marco, Nareda, and Sue. There are all different kinds of clouds. How many different kinds of clouds can you think of? Well, there's already these that look like shaving cream. And what about the kind that looks like you combed its hair? Yes, those are clouds too. Phyllis, Ted, Alfredo, and Julie. There are clouds that look like big fields of sheep, Rachel says. Them are my favorite. And don't forget Nimbus, the rain cloud I add. That's something. Jose and Dagoberto, Alicia, Raul, Edna, Alma, and Ricky. There's that wide puffy cloud that looks like your face when you wake up after falling asleep with all your clothes on. Ronaldo, Angelo, Albert, Armando, Mario. Not my face, looks like your fat face. Rita, Margie, Ernie. Whose fat face? Esperanza's fat face. That's who. Looks like Esperanza's ugly face when she comes to school in the morning. Anita, Stella, Dennis, and Lolo. Who you calling ugly, ugly? Richie, Yolanda, Hector, Stevie, Vincent. Not you, your mama. That's who. My mama. You better not be saying that, Lucy Guerrero. You better not be talking like that, else you can say goodbye to being my friend forever. I'm saying your mama's ugly like bare feet in September. That doesn't. Both of you better get out of my yard before I call my brothers. Oh, we're only playing. I can think of 30 Eskimo words for you, Rachel. 30 words that say what you are. Oh, yeah? Well, I can think of some more. Uh-oh, Nenny. Better get the broom. Too much trash in our yard today. Frankie, Licha, Maria, Pee-wee. Ninny, you better tell your sister she is really crazy because Lucy and me are never coming back here again forever. Reggie, Elizabeth, Lisa, Louie. You can do whatever you want to, Ninny, but you better not talk to Lucy or Rachel if you want to be my sister. You know what you are, Esperanza? You are like the cream of wheat cereal. You're like the lumps. Yeah? And your foot fleas. That's you. Chicken lips. Rosemary, Dahlia, Lily, cockroach jelly. Jean, geranium, Joe, cold frijoles, Mimi, Michael, Mo. Your mama's frijoles. Your mama's ugly, your ugly mama's toes. That's stupid. Bebe, Blanca, Benny. Who's stupid? Rachel, Lucy, Esperanza, and Ninny. Okay. So at the end there, it was really cute the way that she says, who's stupid? And Ninny answers, she's just naming the clouds, but it kind of flowed perfectly. Who's stupid? Y'all are stupid. We're all over here stupid. Y'all are fighting with each other. This is dumb, right? So it's almost like even though she's just sitting there naming clouds, it really went perfectly with who's stupid because Rachel, Lucy, and Esperanza are in fact acting stupid with this silly fight. Okay, family of little feet. We're going to have lots of underlining and stuff to do. Anytime you see them talking about feet or shoes, we're going to underline in here. This is our passage study, okay? There was a family. All were little. Their arms were little, and their hands were little, and their height was not tall, and their feet very small. Their grandpa slept on the living room couch and snored through his teeth. His feet were fat and doughy like thick tamales, and these he powdered and stuffed into white socks and brown leather shoes. The grandma's feet were lovely as pink pearls and dressed in velvety high heels that made her walk with a wobble, but she wore them anyway because they were pretty. The baby's feet had 10 tiny toes, pale and see-through like a salamander's, and these he popped into his mouth whenever he was hungry. The mother's feet, plump and polite, descended like white pigeons from the sea of pillow, across the linoleum roses, down the wooden stairs, over the chalk hopscotch squares. 5, 6, 7, blue sky. Do you want this? And gave us a paper bag with one pair of lemon shoes, one red, and one pair of dancing shoes that used to be white but were now pale blue. Here. And we said, thank you, and waited until she went upstairs. So I want to pause really quickly. One of the things we want to note is in literature, they use color symbolism. So if you see the color white, white tends to mean purity, innocence, it's new, it's untouched, it's clean, right? Virginal, okay? So anytime we see white, that's what that signifies. So the fact that these shoes used to be white, but now they're a pale blue, okay? Again, that goes to our theme of loss of innocence, right? Because they used to be pure and white and fresh and new, but over time, they have lost that purity. They are now tarnished and they are now a pale blue. Okay, so we certainly want to be paying attention to our color symbolism here. Okay, so again, goes along with our loss of innocence theme. Hooray! Today we are Cinderella because our feet fit exactly and we laugh at Rachel's one foot with a girl's gray sock and a lady's high heel. Do you like these shoes? But the truth is, it is scary to look down at your foot that is no longer yours and see attached to a long, long leg. Okay, so right there again at the beginning of the paragraph, oh, Cinderella, Cinderella, a very childlike thing to say. Okay, it's showing that childhood innocence. Okay, and the fact that they're laughing that their little girl's gray sock, which is childlike, is in this grown-up adult high-heeled shoe, and how awkward that looks. And at the end of that paragraph, she says it's scary to look down and see that. So you can see Esperanza's not sure she's quite ready to grow up yet. Okay, these shoes might be just a little too grown up for her. She might not be ready to be wearing such ladylike high-heeled style shoes yet, okay? Everybody wants to trade. The lemon shoes for the red shoes, the red for the pair that were once white but are now pale blue. The pale blue for the lemon, and take them off and put them back on and keep them on like this a long time until we are tired. Then Lucy screams to take our socks off. And yes, it's true, we have legs, skinny and spotted with satin scars where scabs were picked, but legs all our own, good to look at and long. It's Rachel who learns to walk the best, all strutted in those magic high heels. She teaches us to cross and uncross our legs and to run like a double Dutch rope, and how to walk down to the corner so that the shoes talk back to you with every step. Lucy, Rachel, and me teetottering like so, down to the corner where the men can't take their eyes off us. We must be Christmas. Mr. Benny at the corner grocery puts down his important cigar. Your mother know you got shoes like that? Who give you those? Nobody. Them are dangerous, he says. You girls too young to be wearing shoes like that. Take them shoes off before I call the cops. But we just run. On the avenue, a boy on a homemade bicycle calls out, ladies, lead me to heaven. But there is nobody around but us. Do you like these shoes? Rachel says yes, and Lucy says yes, and yes, I say, these are the best shoes. We will never go back to wearing the other kind again. Do you like these shoes? In front of the laundromat, 6 girls with the same fat face pretend we are invisible. They are cousins, Lucy says, and always jealous. We just keep strutting. Across the street, in front of the tavern, a bum man on the stoop. Do you like these shoes? Bum man says, yes, little girl. Your little lemon shoes are so beautiful. But come closer. I can't see very well. Come closer, please. You are a pretty girl, Bum Man continues. What's your name, pretty girl? And Rachel says, Rachel, just like that. Now you know to talk to drunks is crazy, and to tell them your name is worse. But who can blame her? She is young and dizzy to hear so many sweet things in one day. even if it's a bum man's whiskey word saying them. Okay, so again, obviously, these girls have been sexually harassed all day and catcalled all day, but their childlike innocence doesn't let them understand or recognize that things people are saying to them, they're not sweet, they're highly inappropriate. These are young girls, okay, 11, 12 years old, right? And these grown men and older teenage boys are calling out to them, right? They think it's a compliment and they're taking it flatteringly, right? They don't realize that it's creepy and gross. Okay. Rachel, you are prettier than a yellow taxi cab. You know that? But we don't like it. We gotta go, Lucy says. If I give you $1, will you kiss me? How about $1? I'll give you $1. And he looks in his pocket for wrinkled money. We have to go right now, Lucy says, taking Rachel's hand, because she looks like she's thinking about that dollar. Bum man is yelling something to the air, but by now we are running fast and far away, our high heel shoes taking us all the way down the avenue and around the block, past the ugly cousins, past Mr. Benny's, up Mango Street, the back way, just in case. We are tired of being beautiful. Lucy hides the lemon shoes and the red shoes and the shoes that used to be white but are now pale blue under a powerful bushel basket on the back porch, until one Tuesday, her mother, who is very clean, throws them away, but no one complains. Okay, so let's go to our passage study really quickly. So our passage study is that last bit, okay, about them wanting to take the shoes off. In this passage, Cisneros illustrates the theme of loss of innocence when Esperanza states that they are tired of being beautiful. This is because the girls realize that being beautiful and looking grown up comes with big grown up problems, like being ogled and catcalled on the street. The girls discover they don't really like the attention they have been getting from males and aren't quite ready to grow up that fast, and decide to stay little girls a while longer by putting the shoes away until they are older and more ready. So I want you to try it. I want you to go to your quick write about your own loss of innocence and try to convey the theme of loss of innocence without saying those words directly. Okay. Also, once you're done with that, you will need to submit a childhood memory. Okay. So this is a discussion board. Today in class, we discussed our loss of childhood innocence. That can be a very melancholy topic. So to end the day on a more positive note, I want you to reply to this discussion board with your favorite, happiest childhood memory. While you do not have to reply to your peers, you can if you so desire. Remember, this is a discussion board, so once you post, everyone will be able to read what you write. Okay? So again, we're going back to our quick write. And if you wrote, when I realized I lost my innocence was, we're going to take those words out. You need to delete. Take those words out. Try to convey the theme of loss of innocence, okay, without saying those words. And then do your discussion board about your favorite childhood memory, okay? It's a little bit happier, okay? Okay. Can you two, like, text each other instead of in the chat with everybody else? Thanks. Okay, does anybody have any questions over any of the stuff you have to do? None? All right, excellent. All right, it's okay, Henry. All right,